ready.
Welcome to another episode of Buff in the Rough. Today we're going to talk with Jeremy Crapo about transitioning from coon dogs to rabbit dogs, starting puppies, winning the big hunts, and a whole lot more. Help me welcome Jeremy to the program. Well, hey Jeremy, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Trying to keep cool right now.
Yeah. We're in the middle of a heat wave here too. It's tough. We complain so much in the South about not only it being hot, but then you add the humidity to it, and it just takes it to a whole nother level. That feels like when it gets in those triple digits, it's just miserable. It really is.
Yeah, I think it's a 105 heat index today is what they said. So pretty warm.
That's just too much. It's too much. Well, listen, for those that maybe don't know you, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe how you got into hunting, and you can just really tell us a little bit about whatever you want to share. It could be what you do inside of hunting, outside of hunting, other things that you're into, but just catch us up on a little bit about yourself.
All right. Yeah, I'm Jeremy Crapo. I grew up in Hartville, Missouri. I now live in a town just a little bit south of there, Mansfield. But as a kid, I didn't grow up around hunting dogs. But I'd hear my grandma, she would talk about my great-grandpa, Andrew Kelly, and he reared foxhounds all the time. So I'd hear them talk about that, and my mom would talk about going fox hunting. And it kind of got me as a little kid into wanting to get a dog. And all we had, we didn't have a bunch of money, so we just had a bunch of mutts running around. And I'd take them things out and started training them to tree squirrels and stuff. And that's kind of how I really got fired up, to have a hunting dog. And later on in life, my brother-in-law, Chris, he introduced me to coon hounds. And I did that for years. And my stepdad came into the picture, and his dad had beagles. I ended up, I wanted one of them too, so I ended up getting a beagle. I had nobody show me how to do none of that stuff, really at the time. So I took him out and by himself, got him going good. So I've always had beagles on and off since that was probably when I was about 10 or something,
Well, now you mentioned coon hounds. What kind of hounds did you hunt?
When we started out, we had my brother-in-law. He was new at that time also, whenever he kind of showed me it. And started out with blue ticks, and they'd kind of run whatever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And after a while, he got out, and my neighbor, this whole time I didn't know, growing up, my neighbor was a big coon hunter, and Mike Hensley's his name, and he works for PKC now and travels around doing a lot of judging and stuff for him. He had Walker dogs, and somehow or another, I got hooked in with him, and he's kind of what taught me on the competition side of it, started taking me around to competitions, and I started hunting Walker dogs, and from then on, that's pretty well what I hunted was the Walkers,
Did you have any particular favorite bloodlines or anything in those Walker hounds?
Not really. I'd owned a few decent ones, that some people would know of the coon hound world and I'd sold, but that Coma Styles Legend and the Backwater Avalanche, I'd had them, and I don't know, there was, some good stuff there, as a bone collector and stuff, but I kind of just hunted whatever at the time, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If it's something doing good, I never did get too caught up in the bloodline too much on pedigrees,
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's interesting. It seems like a lot of folks I talk to, they're usually just not into one kind of hunting. They've been into coon hunting. You mentioned squirrel hunting, all kinds of things you can do with a hound. So it's just interesting to hear kind of what people have been into in the past.
Yeah.
But what kind of people have had the biggest, or maybe there's a few people, or maybe there's one special person that's had a big influence on you?
Starting out a lot of just learning to train dogs in general, Mike Hensley, like I say, he had a big impact. He took me and showed me a lot. And then there was a man named Richard McDarris. He's passed away now, but he was really good at starting dogs and just kind of teach you to be patient, and he taught me a lot then. If I wasn't with Mike, I was with him at the time, really just learning from them guys, and that really helped me. I know for sure, even today, kind of learning things.
Mm-hmm. Do you consider yourself more of a competition hunter or more of a pleasure hunter, or do you kind of do both, or what's that look like for you?
I like to do the competitions. I don't hit a lot of local. That's kind of my plan. You know what I mean? Is to keep really pushing more into competition. As of right now, my daughter's 14, so I don't hit a lot of hunts. But once she gets a little bit older, I plan on really, hitting the competition side of it a lot. I hunt pretty often. I hunt about all the time that I can. I'm hunting. Mm-hmm. And I don't really gun hunt a lot, but I do gun hunt some. But I'm just more, that's probably going to be more what it be the competition side of it's what I'm looking for.
Now, I want to come back to the competition side, and I've got a couple follow-up questions for you, maybe a little bit later. But let's maybe get an idea for the kind of hounds you like and what you've been hunting over the years. But are there any hounds that you've personally owned, you had them out back at your house, that maybe are your benchmark or some of your favorite hounds from the past? Or it could be present.
The one I got now, Winston, he's kind of the measuring stick for me, just the way he does things, and got kind of lucky to find him. I bought him, but he's pretty much kind of what I've been looking for, or comparing dogs to. I don't know, like I said, I bought him when he was 3 years old. Mm-hmm. He's 7 now, so getting some age on him.
What do you like about him?
He can run a track. He hunts good. He's a quick strike dog, but he's not necessarily what I'd call a jump dog or nothing, and he kind of run around looking to track up a rabbit, and that's something I don't really normally like, I guess. What I maybe don't like about him, but anyway, when he can run a track just unreal fast the way he does it, he doesn't get rough to do it, Mm-hmm. I've done pretty good with him in the hunts, and just kind of learned a lot from him, I guess, on the competition side of it.
Well, let me ask you a question, because you have had some success early on on the competition, like beagling side, the field trial side, and you had some in the competition coon hunting side too. I know you did.
Yeah.
Which one's harder, or which one did you like best? Which one? What are some of the things that you liked about them, or just compare them a little bit for us?
I don't know. It's pretty hard to get a coon hound ready, to go to win at the big level. I don't really know, to tell you the truth, which one would be harder. You know what I mean? To me, I've learned, at first I didn't think there was a lot of training in the beagles. And then the more I've kind of hunted them, I've learned there's little things you can do to tweak them, more than what I thought you could. Mm-hmm. Coon hounds, you can do a lot of different things in training, but I've learned things now, that you can do with a beagle if you kind of know, I guess, what you're doing. But mm-hmm. I've learned a lot talking to people, I guess.
Well, how many years have you been competition hunting? Is this something that's fairly new? You've been doing it for a while?
I got back, started talking to some people about getting into beagles. And one time I got into them a little bit. I went and tried some out and everything, nothing but hunt goods, So I don't know, it didn't take very long that I wasn't very interested in it. And then I was going around and pretty much jumping the rabbits for the dogs, and it wasn't for me.
Right.
And so later on, my daughter wanted to get some, and we got in a couple of beagles. But I bought Winston in 2020s when I bought him. So that's whenever I pretty much started the competition side of things is with him. Mm-hmm. I ran with him in a hunt one time, and Mike Roy was hunting him, and I'd been trying out dogs, and just nothing that suited me, And before it was over with, I told him, I said, I'm going to buy that dog right there. He's like, I don't think he'd sell him as a boy, owned him. Right before that, I'd made a pretty good offer on another dog. Didn't get him bought. So I got a hold of Michael Roy that actually owned the dog, and he told me that he didn't know if he'd sell him, but he'd be pretty high. So I was like, well, I'm interested in buying him. I hadn't seen a dog that could run a track like what he could. Mm-hmm. And before it was over with, we made a deal, and I got him bought. And I went to run him, getting him ran up real hard, and took him to hunts, and therefore you just couldn't hardly lose with him at the time. But I never did travel a lot with him, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, out of town or but I done pretty good with him.
Well, as you started the competition hunt scene here in the past maybe 4 going on 5 years, what are some of the better hounds that you've hunted with, the ones that maybe caught your eye?
One that I really liked, Chase and Elliott had him, and Jason ain't been hunting now, but he had a hammer. Man, that dog, that was a dog that I tried buying. He'd fly around there and jump rabbits, and it wasn't no nonsense, and he could fly on a rabbit. And I just really was always impressed with that dog. Since then, I've hunted with Joe Merritt. He's got, I think he calls him Eroy or something like that. Mm-hmm. And like J.J. Kennels. Anyway, I like that dog. I hunted with him at the Nationals, and I really liked the way that he looked. I definitely own him, but I know Joe's probably like me. If he likes something, it's probably not for sale. So I never did ask him. But Jason Snelson over here in Missouri, he's got the Cade dog. He's a winner. He's a nice dog. And then Josh Byers, he's got a female named Patsy that I really like. She hunts good. I really like Patsy. I've liked her since she was a little pup.
Well, if you could put together a cast of just 4 dogs, and they could be living or dogs from the past that you'd like to see go out together and hunt, what would those kind of top 4 dogs be for you?
I thought I was going to ask that, and I couldn't really think of the 4th dog. I don't know why, but the 3 that I'd really like to see go at it would be that Winston dog that I got, and he's got a brother named Kramer, and then their dad. I never did get to hunt with their dad, Clifford Creek Big John, they called him. I've actually ran Winston with Kramer, and man, them dogs can put on a show. They both look good, and I heard a lot of good things about John, and I'd just like to hunt them 3 together. I think it'd be pretty cool.
I think that's a cool answer.
Yeah.
I really do. I do. I like that. That's a good answer. Well, as you've been out there over the years, what are some of the most memorable hunts you've had? So maybe something that stands out. Could be in your pleasure hunting time growing up, but it could be during these past 4 or 5 years when you've been out competition hunting too. What stands out to you when you think back?
I just like when I do get to travel. I've gotten to go to Nationals twice now, and just a couple of them bigger hunts. I like going out there. I don't know. I normally go with Jason Snelson. I don't know, we have their long drives, but we normally have fun on them, But I don't know. I don't really know of any hunt that stands out, you know what I mean, I guess. But it was pretty cool going to the Nationals here recently with that pup, and I've done good with him out there. That's probably the most memorable deal. It was the biggest win for me anyway so far.
Well, talk about that a little bit. Which hunt was it? Which pup was it?
It was I call him Gary, and it was the Junior Nationals up in Ohio. It was this past one.
Mm-hmm. Now, where did he come from?
I bought him. Actually, Mitch Gold had him on line. He put him on there for Norman Weber, I believe the guy's name,
mm-hmm.
out of Ohio, and he had him on there for sale. And I bought him when he was like 8 weeks old. Got him sitting back here to me. John Hurt actually brought him to Missouri for me. I just got him up there and trained him. And so I've had him, pretty much since he was 8 weeks old, I believe it was.
Well, sounds like he's off to a really good start.
Yeah, I like him. He's a nice pup.
Well, speaking of pups, I got kind of maybe a 2-part question sort of for you, but one, if you looked at an entire litter and you walked up and you could pick one out of a litter, what do you look for when you're picking your puppies?
Well, I like one of the houndy-looking pup if I'm picking one, but normally, honestly, my daughter, if I got a litter of pups, she kind of goes out there and then falls in love with one. That's normally what we got, I don't know. I never could quite figure out the trick, I guess, to picking the perfect one, you know what I mean? In the litter, I just kind of take a gamble at it, get whichever.
Let's talk a little bit about hunting in Missouri. Could you tell us a little bit about what it looks like where you live? Is it thick, wide open, water, no hills, flat. What does it look like out there, the terrain wise, and maybe talk a little bit about your rabbit population, and then maybe the second part of that is what kind of dog does it take to be successful in your conditions?
Yeah, we got I don't know, I think we're kind of lucky because we do got a lot of rabbits, but we also got some spots, that they're pretty hard to jump rabbits in, and I kind of use that to my advantage,
Mm-hmm.
I hunt a lot of places that I don't got to jump around, or there's not a lot of rabbits to jump, I should say, but we got a lot of briars, and dogs got to get in them briars around here to jump them, and like I say, you can go to some places it's pretty open. There's a lot of places around here people's cleaning it up, and I hunt a lot of them places, but with that being said, a lot of the times around here when they're guiding, people seem to take you to a lot of the thick briars, so
Mm-hmm.
seems like a dog gets open a little quicker than I like, probably. It's a little tougher to beat around here, but being we got so much many rabbits, you want a dog that can move a track good, because you're normally going to be scoring a lot of lines
Mm-hmm.
before it's over with too, because we got a lot of rabbits.
Well, Jeremy, if you could build the perfect beagle for you, what would they look like? What would they sound like? How would they hunt? If you could build the perfect beagle.
Well, I like one. Whenever they hear that snap, I want them gone. I never could see having a walk kind of hunting dog, and they just go in anything, to jump on. These two pups that I got right now, they hunt like what I want. They're both heat 'em up bred, and man, they just will fly around and they'll go in anything to jump a rabbit, and that's what I really like about them. But looks wise, I like a houndy dog, but they don't have to be. I guess I don't like a real long haired, rough haired dog. I guess I don't know how you really describe them. Real long haired dogs, I don't care for them. But
Mm-hmm.
I like a mouth that I can hear good, because I like mine to not come back basically until they're struck somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to them, and so I want to be able to hear it in there when they're deep also. And I like one that is good with its mouth, doesn't pop off a lot, hitting a bunch of stuff that can't run. I like them to be in the front, but I don't necessarily like a rough dog. I've kind of learned myself at first I was kind of just looking for something just hit the front no matter what, maybe blow up a track, but I'm learning that you can still have enough foot, as long as they want that front, that they ain't got to be rough all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just a good track dog, something that can run it, can grab that front and run it right.
When you look at dogs, and you mentioned a couple from, I guess, the heat 'em up folks, but is there a particular favorite bloodline that you have, or a particular dog that you like to see in a pedigree when you're out there looking around for a new prospect for you?
No, not necessarily. Me being in the competition side of it for now about 4 years, honestly, when I got to looking at these pedigrees, I couldn't figure out what was what, because you got all these different speed of dogs, and different formats, and now I'm starting to slowly learn, but
Mm-hmm.
I like these eat 'em up pups so much that for the way that I hunt dogs, I don't keep a lot of dogs, and just the way that I hunt a lot like what I would do when I coon hunted, and
Mm-hmm.
They respond well and do well for what I do, and I don't ever have to worry about them, not hunting whenever I turn them loose. That's one thing I would probably stick with the eat 'em up dogs. But I'm always open to whatever. Of course, as far as that goes, I'll hunt any line there is. If it's something nice,
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of hunt to it, and I'm going to go in there and jump a rabbit anywhere,
Well, it doesn't surprise me you like Mitch's dogs, because I think he's an old coon hunter too, and he hunted those old crazy walker dogs like you liked.
Yeah. I talked to Mitch. I bug Mitch to death, to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask him things, because I know he knows that line of dogs, and anytime I got any questions or something, he's real helpful about it. That's for sure. And I can tell with these two pups that he's got nice dogs just through them.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's your favorite part of the country to hunt in? As you've been out and about, I know you've traveled a little bit to some of these bigger hunts, and is there a particular place that you're just like, man, I can't wait to go back there?
Well, we're kind of, like I say, we're blessed here to have all these rabbits, you know. You can go out on a bad day and run. I don't know. I really liked Ohio, going out there that I've went. I haven't got to travel to a lot of places, you know, as far as that goes. But I liked they had the Clash, you know, and Trevor and them, I don't know, it's been 3 years ago, and Trevor and them put us all in really good running. And here at the last Nationals, they put every cast I had, you know, pretty well. We had good running. So I don't know. I really like going to Ohio. I feel like I kind of run my pups more for that terrain. I guess you could say. I don't really keep them in a pile of rabbits at all times. I make them where they got to go find one. So I don't know. I would say Ohio would probably be where I kind of look forward to going to.
Yeah, it'd be hard not to have that on your list.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I've always had a good time up there. That's a good spot for sure.
Yeah.
Now, for a guy who hasn't been competition hunting long, if I'm correct, you've had success in the Clash of Champions. You've done well in the Grands part of the Nationals. You've been in the Final Four of a Pro Hunt, kind of something new for UKC.
Yeah.
You've done well in the Eliminators that you kind of mentioned earlier. Are there any of those that are, I know they're all similar, they're all different though too, but are there any of those your favorite more than the other? Like, I've always been curious about those pro hunts. If I have this in my mind correctly, that's kind of a big money kind of hunt. That's a money hunt where everybody puts in a higher entry fee. A lot of times they'll limit the number of entries, and it's more about money maybe than something else. But did that kind of a hunt have a different feel to it than some of the other just regular old hunts that you went to?
Yeah, a little bit. All the people, I think it was $300 entry fee or something. That's newer to the Beagle deal, you know. So you can tell a lot of people wasn't wanting to lose that $300, you know. And so I guess nerves were kind of on edge, you know, trying to, you know, just wanting to win. I mean, nobody necessarily cheating or nothing like that. It wasn't nothing like that, but it wasn't near as laid back situation, I guess you could say. Everybody was very competitive the whole time, but I don't mind that at all. I feel like I do good when it gets like that. So, but yeah, I enjoy it, and like the Clash. I'd only went that 1 year to the Clash, and but it's real laid back deal. You know, UKC does a great job on that, and they make it where everybody kind of has fun. You know what I mean? There, and I really enjoy that. I've got both these pups actually qualified for the Clash, the next one, so I'm happy about that. I don't get to hit a lot of hunts, so now that I got them qualified, that's kind of my next deal. Just running until I guess we got our state hunt, and then the world hunt will be here this year, so that'll be the only two next hunts I get to, you know, put them in or get them ready for. But yeah, I really enjoy the bigger hunts a lot more than the just smaller stuff for sure.
It's pretty impressive that you're doing all this winning and with these young dogs. I mean, it sounds like
they're both under 2 years old.
Wow.
So like Gary, the male dog, he won't be 2. I know till December, and then she'll be 2 just a month or so before then. I can't exactly remember. So they're both pretty young.
And so, to go back to, and forgive me if you mentioned it before, but you said these dogs were heat 'em up dogs. But can you tell us what exactly they're out of, or maybe the stud that they were out of? Do you remember?
Yeah, Gary, he's the one that done good, won the junior nationals with, and he's out of like Cody Rucker's that rowdy repetition dog, and Norman Raber, he owned a female. He lives in Ohio somewhere. Norman, really nice guy, and he's got a female that she's named Twig, and she is a sister to the Heat 'em Up Spot dog. So he's actually line bred Heat 'em Up. And then my little female, I call her Electra. She's out of Spot, Derek Bowens. And then Alec Bitzer, I believe his name. I can't remember how he says it, but he's got a Broken Guns Mini 14. He calls her. I know that, and that's what Electra's mother is. She goes back to that Butcher dog, Black Butcher, and then some of Vicky Bassett's dog, her Hurry Up Sweet Pea, I believe is what the name is. So yeah, they're bred good as far as that goes.
Yeah, they're out of some winners, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Could you tell us, is there anything crazy that you've ever seen while you've been out on these hunts? Maybe it's just a crazy story, something just really weird happened on your hunt?
No, I haven't really had nothing. I was thinking about that, and I haven't had nothing just too crazy, you know what I mean, that I can think of. Tell you the truth. Yeah, I thought that question through, and I honestly, nothing yet. I'm sure there's probably something to come, you know.
Hey, you do this long enough, I know something crazy will happen to you. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. What advice would you give somebody that's considering rabbit hunting? Maybe it's some of your coon hunting buddies that are slowing down a little bit, and they're like, man, I need to try this rabbit hunting thing out. Or perhaps it's someone that's a pleasure hunter, likes to gun hunt with the rabbit dogs, that would consider competition hunting with this rabbit stuff. What would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, the best thing would be, to go there and just try it out, see how the dogs operate, learn the rules. That way you kind of know what dog you're looking for. Seems like a lot of people jump into buying a dog, and like I said, I went and tried out a bunch of dogs and a bunch of junk, if you don't know the truth, and just save up your money and go on and just buy that good one as far as that goes, because if not, nobody has fun losing. I know I've heard people say they're just there to have fun, and we are, but most of us have more fun if we win. But I would say just learn the rules for sure, and then go and run with people. Maybe hunt some guys. There's always somebody there that's got some decent dogs that's going to pay your entry and let you hunt their dog in the hunt. Always looking for handlers. So you kind of do that, and you can gives you a good idea of what you're looking for, before you do spend your money. But I would definitely start out with something, above average, in my opinion. Because a lot of people get in and they go to losing, and then they'll get, right back out. So if you got something to compete, you're not going to stay in most of the time.
Well, you mentioned something I think is really important. You said save your money up, go buy a good one.
Yeah.
What should somebody expect to pay for a dog that can compete?
Well, that could be all over, but in my opinion, it's going to cost you something pretty nice, anywhere from $3,000 up to, they can just keep going. The hounds have gotten high. I know normally whenever I try to buy one, it seems like they might be a little higher than normal. But I'm used to coon hounds, though, so you know what I mean. But I would say anywhere around $3,000 to get you. But I'm sure you can get one probably cheaper. You know what I mean. I've seen some decent dogs sold for around $800 to $1,000. And some of these people don't really run their dogs right, so that's another thing to take into consideration. You could probably get, if they don't hunt their dogs real hard, or they don't solo their dogs a lot, you can and you see something you really like in that dog, obviously sometimes you can get them dogs and bring it up to another level as far as that goes. I've noticed that a lot, that people just kind of, they pack hunt them a lot and never really run them what I consider, I guess, the right way.
Well, while we're on that, I've got two kind of follow-up questions. The first is, what would you expect to pay for a coon hound? Oh boy,
I kind of got back in a little bit. My buddy Jeremiah Roller, he buys a lot of dogs. He's kind of out now of the coon hunting. He started another business, but we would go and try dogs. And nowadays, $10,000 actually doesn't really buy you much of a dog, if you want to know the truth. It kind of blows my mind. Some of them you go hunt and they'll sell like that pretty often, and they'll just kind of be a little above average, dogs that have done a little bit of winning. But yeah, the dog prices went up, and I've noticed that the beagles, which is good for the beagle guys for sure, the beagles have started going up quite a bit too here lately.
Mm-hmm.
That class just really helped that, and you get them pro hunts taken off, stuff like that. And then obviously now you can hunt a dog longer. People that want to push, if they want to push for the Hall of Fame or something. So stuff like that helps a dog be worth more money, and it actually helps them be worth more money longer in life. When you got that class, you can go win $10,000. So get $3,000, $4,000 for a good beagle. It's got a good chance. You can go to that thing and win a couple rounds and win some of your money back, or maybe win more. Obviously.
Well, you mentioned soloing. I've heard a lot of competition guys really promote soloing a dog to get the most out of it in a competition hunt. Why is that so important?
It just gets them to learn how to run their own rabbit. If they know how to run a rabbit on their own, they don't need no help. You ain't got to worry about it relying on these other dogs, And then whenever you got a dog that wants that front, if he knows how to run a rabbit and he gets that front, it's a whole lot easier for him, obviously to keep that front and run it without having to be too crazy, missing lines and stuff. But like when I started my pup, I started him by himself. That's how I've done with, like I said, coon hounds, everything. I take them on their own. I don't start them in a pen. I don't have a running pen or nothing that I use. I just take them on their own and start hunting them, and they'll learn how to run a rabbit on their own pretty quick. And then later on I'll get something slow. I normally will try to buy just some old dog locally that I'm gonna turn back around, and normally I'll sell it for a lot less than what I get for it. But something slow that just kind of runs the rabbit. I don't want it too slow, but that pup can run the front on pretty easy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of get that pup some confidence, and then I'll still solo a lot. And then once I feel like I'm done from there, I'll just sell that dog off to somebody or give it to somebody, however, that maybe gun hunts or something.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I find that all very interesting, but I've heard that a ton, and that all makes sense. Now, it sounds like you're in a great part of the country. You have a good population out there, plenty of places to hunt. Do you have any concerns, anything you think are going to be challenges facing hunters in the future?
I hear a lot of people that don't, have a lot of spots to hunt, and we are losing a little bit of it around here, but I've been kind of lucky because of several people know me down where I'm from. So, and my uncle's real big down in that community, and I use his name a lot. So me personally, I don't have to worry. I haven't been having to worry as much about finding spots to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And but I know that's been affecting people a lot. People buying land up, clearing it up, and that for sure. Though I know it's been in the coon hound side. Coon hounds go so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's been hard on that part of it. But if you get around and go talking to a lot of people. So you go to the first door and they tell you no. Some people kind of get frustrated and might not ask nobody for another month or two, but if you stay consistent with it, it's like I'll go out one day and go to asking people, and I might get told no. And the next thing you know, I get 5 or 6 of them telling me, yeah, go on,
Mm-hmm.
And, so if you stay consistent, you can find spots to run rabbits for sure. But I do know, like I say, in other places, it seems like you see that a lot, that it's affecting it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's pretty common. I think that's we're seeing that all over. Thank you so much, Jeremy. And I want to wrap up kind of like this, but is there anything that I didn't ask you about that I should have? Is there anything you want to add, or is there anything you want to promote or talk about that we haven't covered so far?
I just want to give a thanks to Gene Olhans over here in Missouri. He's the rep for Value Pack, and they do a lot for the coon hounds and beagles. I mean, it's unreal to me how much they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to give a shout out to them and thanks to them guys, because it really helps, seeing them come up and help promote things. Gene's actually a rabbit hunter, and he's got a brother Rex, and they run rabbits, and they've actually started a club up there. So I support them guys for sure. They really help everybody out around here.
Mm-hmm. Well, very good. Well, again, Jeremy, thank you so much for sharing some of your time with us today. And I found it very interesting and love learning more about you and what part of the country you're hunting in, what you like to hunt. and some of the new up and coming hounds that you've got going. And can't wait to see what they do in the next couple of years. I'm excited for you. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No, thank you again. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Buff in the Rough. And remember to like and subscribe if you want to be notified when we have new content available. And please send comments and suggestions to buffintherough@gmail.com.